Hey YouTube, Do-It-Yourself Junkie 369, and today is day 86 of our RV-10 build. I'm on step 7 of page 8, and on that you take 2 levels, put it across the top of the skins here at different bulkheads, and you make sure it's level and untwisted, and then you drill the piece in the back there to basically lock everything into place and keep it from twisting. And I'm going to go ahead and do this today because I want to temporarily place this outside while I do some work over here cleaning up the garage. Basically, I'm going to get another shelf to organize stuff on and move my welder to the other side. If you saw my shelf review, I believe I talked about this a little bit. On a more positive note, my wing kit is on order. I need to make my down payment on that. I received the order confirmation today to sign off on. I verified that the fuel caps that I wanted are in there. Supposedly the Deluxe fuel caps, according to an email I just got, are now standard in the RV-10 wing kit. So I was trying to delete the old fuel caps and put in the Deluxe fuel caps, and received confirmation that those are now a standard part included in the wing kit. So yay! I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. Other than that, I need to make my down payment and get that clock moving on that wing kit. Unfortunately, the bad news about that is my crate date is in November. So they are not joking around about that 6-month lead time. So I guess on the positive side, plenty of time to finish out the tail kit. I'll probably get some temporary hardware and put all the pieces together and start doing the rigging. That way it doesn't take very long to get it back together when it's moved to the airport. And then after I have that done and I've moved as far as I possibly can, I'll basically store everything. And that's part of the reason I'm going ahead and cleaning the garage today rather than putting a whole bunch of time and work into this, because I should have probably ordered the wing kit as soon as I had finished all the control surfaces before I started working on the horizontal stabilizer. But there used to be a shorter lead time, and I wasn't visiting our website every day looking for updates of that kind, so miscalculation on my part. Other than that, the order process was great as always. I'm very nervous about it because that was the first time I had tried deleting parts. So I had called Vans a couple times, and they very good working with me, and just great people to deal with. So let's go ahead, get this thing leveled out, and then drill that cleco so that it's stiff and not twisting when I decide to move it around. As part of that, I have my tail sitting on sawhorses, and you probably will too. I will tell you right now that there is a good chance your workshop floor, especially if it's concrete, is not level. And I already know my sawhorses, due to that, aren't level. If I put a level right now across the top of the tail, it looks like this side is about that much, 2 inches lower than this side. And I don't think the tail is twisted, it's consistent all the way back, which seems to indicate that it is not twisted, that the floor is out level. To combat or to deal with this, what I'm going to do is temporarily take the tail off the sawhorses and set it in the grass outside, and put the levels across the sawhorses and get the sawhorses level side to side first. Then bring the tail back in, set it on the top, and if it's out of level, deal with it then, trying to make sure that it's not twisted. The sawhorses are probably also not level front to back, but I feel like that matters less as long as I get the tail square across the sawhorses. So that will be the biggest thing that I'm focusing on. That and getting those sawhorses surfaces level. So let's go ahead and work on that. Okay, that's an interesting problem. These appear to be very level. So the only thing I can figure out is maybe I had a cleco on top of a sawhorse rather than it sitting flat on the metal. Even front to back is very level. So since these appear to be level, I still don't think it was twisted. I must have just had a cleco resting on the sawhorse. So when I bring it back in here and position it again, I'll be very careful checking underneath it to make sure that's not occurring. And then the only thing I can do from there is to level it out and make sure it's level by placing that level near the front of the skins and then back at the back at the F10-12 bulkhead. And even though these did turn out to be level, it's just good practice to go ahead and check that. Really, I should have checked on the initial setup before I started putting parts together. So you want a long level that can span this front section. This is a 48-inch level. You can pick it up at any hardware store. One thing to do is set the level on both sides and make sure it reads the same. That way you know that there's a certain degree of accuracy to it. And then the other thing I would do is make sure it's not at a diagonal like this. And do that, you can count holes. So like put the edge just above the fourth hole on each side. You could also put it back here up against the bulkhead and know that it's in the correct place. This is showing level now, so only thing I can think of is this was slightly twisted sideways due to it sitting on some clecos. The clecos must have been sitting on the sawhorse, because now we just placed it back on. I was very careful about cleco placement and looking underneath it when we set it down, and it looks like it's perfectly level. As long as the back is level, we're good to drill that piece, put some clecos in it, and finish up step 7 and move on. So that might have seemed crazy that it took about 30 minutes to drill 8 holes back there, but you got to think, if your tail is twisted, when your aircraft's complete, your vertical stabilizer is going to be leaning to one side or the other. And just being off a degree there on twist will be something that you can physically see at the tail of the tip of your vertical stabilizer, because that angle will move the tip further offline as you go up further and further away from the point where the twist originated. It's same idea with shooting. 1 minute of angle is a 60th of a degree. Well, by the time you get out to 100 yards, that's a whole inch of movement. Actually, it's a little bit more, but most people just say an inch. And if you're doing roll cages and you're off by a degree in the back, by the time your cage gets to the front of the vehicle, you can miss the entire vehicle. Okay, so I did some reorganization on the shop. I have 2 shelves over here now, and I moved my kids' power wheels over here, push mower right here, and there's a ton of room to walk down this side of the tail cone. Before, I had the benches pushed all the way up against the one shelf that I had and barely any room to scoot around the tail cone. And then I put my benches over on this side, and I'm working on getting this welder pushed up against the far wall and out of the way. So I still have some mess, but it's all now located in like maybe a quarter of the garage instead of taking up half the garage. And the shelves really help. Still have some kid toys over there that I need to put in totes and put on that shelf, but we'll get there. But I feel like camera's further away and you guys will get to see more of what's going on. Hopefully when I'm making parts over here, it's not cutting off too much of the view. One thing I could do to help with that is probably put the tail cone at an angle, or I'll just try to keep stuff on this bench and not do anything down there where the tail cone is blocking the view. In this step where you're drilling the skins to the longerons, for one thing you'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 clamps per side. So I'll throw that on the list. But it also states to drill that to 3/16 rather than a number 40. And that might seem kind of a weird thing to do, but what I'm thinking is the skin that goes over the top comes down and overlaps on that joint. And so you'll be drilling that skin to the holes as well. And at that point, you'll drill it up to a number 40. So don't drill it to number 40 right now. Just drill it to 3/32 so that the clecos can grab onto it. Okay, I'm going to call it quits for this video, and today basically I put in close to 6 hours, and I didn't quite finish page 12, step 8, which is match drilling the J stiffeners here in this forward top skin. So I'll have to come back and work on that tomorrow. Other than that, it's awesome. I can't describe how this looks in person. I mean, it went from kind of nothing but some flat sheets of aluminum to a tail cone, which is a little over 3 feet wide here and like 8 feet long. It's just awesome. I'll probably throw in some of the photos I took of this thing just so you get an idea of what it's like. I have some pictures that I took to send to friends earlier, and I'll probably include those in the video so you get a chance to see those. Other than that, everything was pretty straightforward. I was real happy that I was able to drill the J stiffeners here by myself, because other than the person helping me flip the tail cone over, I really wasn't planning on having anybody help me today. And I was worried that I might have to just stop working or move to something that I could do. Anyway, if you liked the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. If you are going to build your own Vans aircraft, I would really appreciate it if when you buy your kit you submit my builder's number. That way they will give me $100 as kind of a thank you / finder's fee. Nothing extra will be added to your kit for that. That's something that Vans does to basically help spread the word. Advertisement fee, basically. If you haven't considered a Vans aircraft, I highly recommend these over other aircraft out there. And that's one video I still have to do, is kind of go back and cover. I have a private pilot certificate, or I'm learning how to fly. Why should I own my own aircraft? And then from there move into, well, instead of buying my own aircraft, why did I choose to build? Just to give you guys some background on how I arrived at the decision to build this aircraft. I've seen in person a couple other aircraft to be being built. One of them is another RV-10, and it just seems that this kit, compared to what else is out there, is just miles ahead of anything else you can buy. That's all I have. Hopefully you'll keep watching. See you in the next video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them. I'll try to answer stuff. And thanks for watching.